Yes, I love questions like this. So we added your question to one of our trans communication sessions, as well as when I did some light language from the Mintakans. So this is the information that we received for you. So as you are probably already aware, Mintakan is located in the Orion's belt, which is like a series of 3 stars, and one of the stars are Mintaka. And in this like kind of Mintakan solar system, there is a planet there, which is a 98% water planet, and 2%, which is like landmass that does come through the surface. These landmasses are very far and few, and they're usually referred to what they look like to us as more a series of caves and coves or rock formations. So the real Mintakans from this specific area is more fish-like beings than what we think of as the mermaid kind beings. So they do look like the mermaid kind beings that we are familiar with, but they do have more fish features on their faces and fins on their backs and also on their forearms. The mermaids that we have in Earth, or on Earth, actually came from Mintaka thousands and thousands of years ago. So when the Mintakans decided to come and kind of inhabit on Earth, the way they did that is they create these bubble formations, what they use as kind of transport devices. And also within this planet of Mintaka, there's also various light sources inside the water that they use as what we usually refer to as stargates. So when they created these bubble-like ships moving through their stargates to their central star, which is Mintaka, and then from Mintaka to Earth's star, which is our sun, then to Earth through our stargates, this is how they kind of traveled here. To us, it seems like it would take time to do that, but actually it only takes a few instances, because they literally project themselves through these kind of like vessels into these stargates and then through into our planets. So the reason why the Mintakans actually wanted to come to Earth is because when Earth was still in its seeding process, they wanted to contribute some of their waters to this planet. If you think about the most crystal clear water that you've ever seen on planet Earth, times that by 1,000. This is what the water looks like on Mintaka, or what you refer to as the Mintakan water planet. So this water is like perfection in itself. It contains healing capabilities, the nutrients that any kind of being can require, and they wanted to bring that source of life to our planet. So the other thing the Mintakans wanted to contribute to this beautiful planet of ours is to also create a being from their essence. And this is where the hybridization occurred of the human design along with what we call the fish design. And this is why we refer to our mermaids as being half human and half fish, or having the tail of a fish and the upper body of a human. So the original Mintakans from Mintaka, or from that star system, they are incredibly beautiful beings. Even though they have these fish features, they are stunningly beautiful, like flawless. And the other thing that I noted when we were looking at these visuals is that their hair is incredibly long. And if you think about the Medusa that we know, the hair is alive as well. Like their hair literally can wrap around things and move as well around things. And the other thing that is really interesting about them that they showed us is that the Mintakans actually create the cocoon with their hair when they decide to procreate. Just something cool to know. I guess we're all learning, right? So the other things that they showed us, specifically when they came to this planet, they brought along all of their trades and all of their kind of abilities as well. And their main ability is literally to flow with the water and interact with the water. So a big part of their actual nature is actually to assist with the Earth's ocean waves and the process of the waves that are being formed within the oceans, along with the moon's cycles. We, from our perspective, always thought that it was only the moon causing this, but actually there are many creatures in our seas that actually assist with this process. Also, the Mintakans wanted us to know that because they have this ability to kind of move the water as they please, they have assisted us through many, many occasions in the past or in our past history with regards to tsunamis and preventing those as well. Now, there has been instances where there has been tsunamis on our planet, but this is where they could not interfere because it was within those souls' contracts. You get two types of Mintakans that live on our Earth, and that is saltwater and freshwater Mintakans or mer beings. And they are very similar in trait. Some of them do have the more fish-like features as well as the original Mintakans, but the one thing they have in common is to actually regulate and assist the waters, either in the ocean or in the lakes. The Mintakans also has a very close bond with many, many sea and lake creatures, but specifically they wanted us to refer to the whales and the dolphins. The Mintakans actually can communicate through the whales and the dolphins' frequencies, so those sounds that we always hear, the Mintakans actually communicate through them as well. Other ways that they also communicate with us is either through our theta state or our dream states, and also through light language. Now, the history of the Mintakans, or the mer beings on Earth, goes way back thousands and thousands of years. Some of them have reverted back to the third dimensional experience as well, where most of them actually remained within this unity consciousness. So there has been many occasions throughout history where because people were in the third dimensional state, have actually hunted them down and used them as prizes when they were caught. So many of the mer beings have actually, not to a sense hid away, but removed themselves from the visibility of humanity for quite some time. But now they are starting to show themselves again because we are kind of catching up and understanding what all life creatures are about. So as we know, the ancient Egyptians did interact with many kinds of beings, including the bird beings, the dog beings, the felines, but also the Mintakans, or the mer people. Now, because they interacted with them, they found it quite intriguing that they could both breathe air and water. So the Egyptians did really like this ability and felt that it was part of mastery of breath, being able to both breathe air and water. And this is why we see them around the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. So myths and stories and histories of mer people can be found all around our world. This just shows us again that they have been around for thousands and thousands of years. The other thing that the mer people, or the Mintakans, also shared with us in their visuals is that they do actually have entire cities underneath water, or underneath the surface of the water. These cities can have anything that you can imagine in, like they have living spaces, they are learning centers, schools. They also have play areas where they just have fun as well. One of the things they did show us is the trident as well, that we are so familiar with and used to. Basically, it is to direct energy. That is what they use it for, to direct water specifically, and also in some cases air. I know in our history we have seen that it shoots out thunderbolts and lightning. This is the case to some sense, but what those images have shown us is that they just use it to kind of direct energy to a sense, and mainly it's usually water or air. So this concludes our series on the Mintakans. Thank you so much for submitting your question. So if you would like to book any personal sessions with us, we do these transcommunication sessions where we connect with your higher self, and then your higher self shows us whatever it is that you are wanting to shift in your life. And we can also do research in these sessions, and this is how we find this information that I presented in this series. If you would like to book any light language sessions as well, the links are also in my bio. And I just want to thank you for staying and watching this series with us. It was a pleasure to make it. Thank you.